thanks for tuning in. I hope you're all well wherever you are. In this video, I wanted to do a little bit of a pattern spotlight on one of my favourite patterns at the moment, which is the Closet Case Patterns Kalle shirt and tunic and shirt dress, because I've made 5 versions of it now and they're all a little bit different and there's lots of options that you can do with the pattern. So I thought it would be a good chance to show you how the same pattern looks in different fabrics and then also in different styles as well, because a question that I get asked a lot is how do you know what a pattern is going to look like in a different fabric, or how's it going to work, or how do you choose? So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of how the same thing can look in different fabrics. So for those of you that aren't that familiar with the pattern, it is Closet Case Patterns Kalle, that's what it's called, and it comes with lots and lots of options and variations, as I said before. So starting at the top, you can have a band collar or more like a regular standard collar, which is the collar that I've got on here. So I've actually rounded out this one, but it comes pointed and the pattern piece is pointed, but I'm going to show you how to round it out. And then you can have 3 different button plackets. So you can have just like a normal standard button placket, you can have a hidden button placket where there's like an extra flap of fabric so it hides the buttons at the front, or you can have a pop over placket, which is what the one I've got on here, so it stops part of the way down. You can have sleeves on this garment. It doesn't come in the packet, but you can buy it as a PDF expansion pack, and that's from the Closet Case Patterns website. I've not actually tried that one out yet because I quite like short sleeves because I like to layer with a cardigan, but it's a sort of like extended kimono sleeve that it comes with, so it's just a continuation of the bodice piece, and then it's got a little cuff as well. And then there's 3 different length options. So there's a cropped, a tunic and a dress length, and the hem is kind of high-low, so it's higher at the front, lower at the back. The cropped version has a facing for the hem, and then for the other versions you can just do like regular kind of turned hem, or you could do a bias finish hem as well. And then at the back it's got a yoke, and then you can have a pleat in the centre back, and the pleat can either be a box pleat or an inverted pleat, so it just depends what way you fold the fabric. So I've got the different versions of that to show you as well. So first of all, my version that I'm going to show you is using this birdsong cotton lawn, and I actually made this garment for the summer blog series that I did last year. So these are like little video clips that I took last summer, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what it looks like. So I did the band collar on this version and the hidden button placket, and the cotton lawn is really nice and lightweight, it's nice and floaty, so it doesn't feel bulky under the arms at all. And I did an inverted pleat in that one, and then it's got the facing as well. So the facing's quite good on a lighter weight fabric like this because it just helps it to hang a little bit better. So this is the cropped version, but I lengthened it by 5 centimetres. The cropped one is really cropped, so all of the cropped versions I've made, I've lengthened the back and the front all by 5 centimetres. So that is my first version, and then my next version is using another cotton lawn, but this one, although it's cotton lawn, it was from the same supplier, it just felt a tiny little bit heavier. For some reason the other one just felt lighter weight. I'm not sure why, it's maybe just a different batch of cotton or something. So with this one I did the standard collar, but I rounded it out, and then I did a standard button placket as well. So yeah, this is just what it looks like in a kind of different print. So it is quite similar to the first version, it's just the button placket and the collar that's a little bit different in that one. And then my next version again is also a cropped one, but the fabric is really different. So this time I used a viscose linen mix, but it's mostly got viscose, this fabric. It's 70% viscose and 30% linen, so it really has more of the properties of viscose. So it's very drapey, it's quite slippy, it's really lightweight, and you can see that it just moves around a lot more. So again, I did the normal collar, but I rounded it out. So when I rounded it out for my other palm version as well, I still cut out the pointed collar, and I still sewed the collar with the point, and then once I'd sewed it I just rounded it out a little bit because I thought that would be easier to get all of the seam allowances nice and consistent and even and everything. So it's really easy, you're just following the instructions exactly what it says for the pointed collar and then just rounding it out and stitching around that a little bit afterwards. I really like the collar on this pattern. I think it's just really well drafted, and the under collar is smaller than the outer collar, which just makes it sit really nicely. It just sort of draws the collar kind of under a little bit and makes it look really smooth on the outside. So I would, yeah, I think generally this is a good well drafted collar, and that's how you round it out, so it's pretty easy. But yeah, I really like this version. This is probably one of my favourite ones. I think the swishiness of it just makes it feel really different. And yeah, so this would go for a fabric that was like 100% viscose as well. I think it would kind of have the same effect, so hopefully it gives you an idea of what it looks like, and something that's got much more kind of fluidity and kind of drape to it compared to the cotton lawn, which just does hold its shape a little bit more. And then my next version I'm going to talk you through is the one that I'm wearing just now, and for this one I use some of our Sashiko cotton. It's a Koka fabric, so it's from Japan, and it does have a bit more structure and body to it than the cotton lawn does, and I think you can kind of see that in it as well. It just holds its shape a lot more. So the length of this one is kind of an in-between, so I lengthened the front bodice by 8 centimetres and the length of the back by 5. So I didn't lengthen them equally, but I still wanted them to be a bit different. And I didn't do the facing, so I just overlocked the hem and then turned it under, and I rounded out the side seams as well, just so that it's got like a bit of a kind of rounded slipped bit at the side as well, because I quite like that sort of kind of mini vent style. And then it's got the pop over placket and then the standard collar as well. Again, I just rounded it out. And I really love this shirt too. It does feel kind of more blousey. I don't know whether it's because it's got the pop over placket, or the fabric is just a little bit thicker, but it does have a much more different feel to that viscose one that I had. And I think that contrasting those two versions of it really shows you how different the same pattern can look when you have just a slight variation and then a different fabric as well. And then the final version I've got to show you is the dress. So this was also one that I made that was part of the summer blog series that was on last year. So again, the video clips are from back then, but I'd just make use of them again. So this is the dress version. It does come up quite short, especially at the front, so that's just kind of something to bear in mind. Again, it's still got that high-low hem, and I just did the standard placket, the standard button placket and the pointed collar, and then I made the pleat at the back boxed instead of inverted. I personally prefer the inverted pleat. I just think it looks nicer. It's my personal preference, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of what that looks like as well. And for this dress I used some of the Atelier Brunette viscose. It's the halo print in the brown colourway, so this is 100% viscose, and you can see that it has got a lot of movement and drape in it, and for me, in a dress form, something that's a bit more lightweight and fluid is my personal preference. I think if you made the dress version in something that was more structured, like the fabric that I used for this one, it would feel really quite sort of loose and like a bit more structured, which is totally a look, and that is like a thing, and I think other people look good in it. For me personally, I just prefer if it's something that's quite loose and it's long as well. I just like something that's a bit more fluid and drapey, and this dress looks really nice with a belt as well, so you can put a little belt round it, and because it is quite lightweight, it doesn't feel too bulky when you kind of bunch it up like that. So yeah, I hope that gives you an idea of what the dress looks like as well. So all of my versions I made the size 6, which is what my body measurements correspond to on the pattern. So that should hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of how the fit actually comes up. It's supposed to be quite loose, especially like here you can see that it is quite baggy and loose, and that's just the kind of style of it. But I think it's really nice, it's really comfortable to wear, and I've enjoyed wearing all of mine. So I hope that has given you some ideas and you fancy giving the pattern a go. I'll link to my blog post in the comments section below, and that has got links to where you can buy the pattern on my website, and also to the sleeve lining expansion pack too, and to different fabric options quite a few of the, actually just the bird song and the sailboats linen viscose one were sold out of them, but I've linked to some other fabrics that are kind of similar, and then to just generally other fabric options that you could use for this pattern too, so I hope you find that useful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, just remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video. I'm going to be doing a little tour of our new window display next week on the blog, and then also a little bit of a tour around our studio as well, where we do all of our sewing workshops, so look out for that one next week. And I'll see you soon. Thanks guys, bye.